Hello, and welcome to Animal Chiropractic Clinic Chatter, a podcast where Dr. O from All Creatures Every Spine interviews doctors and animal owners that utilize animal chiropractic to get their unique perspectives. Yes, it's really a thing. Dr. O utilizes his 30 years of experience as both an animal chiropractor and veterinarian, and to dig deep into the discussion of complex issues affecting the lives of your animal friends and companions. Join us for this educational episode. Thanks for joining us for this portion of the episode as Dr. O begins to answer the question, what is animal chiropractic? He will look at how the chiropractic adjustment is a valuable and viable treatment for what ails your animals.
Think of your animal's symptoms like an overdraft charge. Once we're born, we're on this continuum of health until we die. So we're born, we're healthy, we slide down this continuum towards death. We're always going one way on that continuum. You're either getting healthier or you're getting sicker. Your animal is either getting healthier or getting sicker. So if you're healthy, it's pretty easy to navigate normal things like getting up, laying down. But if it's difficulty getting up, well, then maybe we don't do it. So then we don't exercise. And so then we have an overdraft. We get an overdraft charge from the bank because we didn't put enough health into our bank when we could. So now we can't draw on it when we have a problem. We know that the chiropractic adjustment increases your dog's ability to fight infection by 400%. So basically that's putting 4 times your paycheck into the health account 1 month. So that when you do get stressed, when you do get exposed to some kind of bacteria or virus, there's enough in the health account for him or her to take care of it. Fight off that bacteria. So we're hoping that the chiropractic adjustment helps keep your animal out of the red and away from overdraft charges. That's wellness and maintenance care. That's where we want your dog to be in.
Make sure to visit our website, allcreatureseveryspine.com, where you can subscribe to the show and learn more about getting your animals adjusted. If you are in the Meridian, Texas area, drop in on a Tuesday afternoon to get your animals adjusted. If that isn't possible, schedule a consultation on your animal's health with Dr. O. You can also purchase a copy of Dr. O's book. Yes, it's really a thing.
Heroes come in all shapes and sizes. For me, my hero is Frank, my best friend. But even the greatest heroes need help sometimes. Frank and I were at the park the other day when he started limping and favoring his left leg. I didn't see what happened, but I could tell something was wrong. So we went to see Frank's favorite vet, Yvette. Yvette the vet. After running some tests, she determined that Frank had torn his ACL. His best option was surgery. But unfortunately for me, surgery wasn't an option. So what could I possibly do to be a hero to my hurting hero? That was when Yvette told us about hero braces. She took a quick cast of his leg and said this mold would be used to create a biomechanically designed stifle brace, custom-made just for Frank, allowing his body's natural healing processes to take over and stabilize the knee. About 2 weeks later, she fitted the brace and gave us the green light to walk, hike, and snuggle, and do all the activities that Frank and I were used to doing. It was that simple. Hero braces are lightweight, don't stretch or tear, and are durably designed to last the life of your dog. so Frank can get back to being Frank. Like I said, heroes come in all shapes and sizes. And lucky for us, so do hero braces.
What is going on, everyone? My name is Stan Smith. I'm the CEO of X-Dog and the inventor of the X-Dog Weight and Fitness Vest. What is the X-Dog Weight and Fitness Vest? In a nutshell, it is the world's greatest harness for dogs. It doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're looking to build muscle, combat obesity, address anxiety issues, high energy, you want to suppress that energy level. If you just want to take the average walk and turning into a health improving workout, we made it so convenient to exercise your dog that you literally only need about 30 seconds a day. It doesn't matter if you're doing basic obedience training or compete at high level dog sports or in protection sports. The X-Dog Weight and Fitness Vest can enhance it and take any type of daily lifestyle to the next level. If you want to be part of our mission of eliminating canine obesity or just being a part of our team, make sure you go to teamxdog.com. As always, man, I want to thank you for your time and your support, and Team X-Dog strong.
Hello everyone, and welcome to barfworld.com. If you're seeing this video, it typically means you're interested in trying our 90-day challenge. If your pet is suffering from allergies, kidney issues, obesity, diabetes, or even cancer, our food can help with that. So if you're ready to see your pet's health dramatically improve in just 90 days, call us and schedule your consultation today. Hope to talk to you guys soon.
Join us as Dr. O interviews a certified chiropractor, veterinarian, or an animal owner. These enthusiastic people explain how they utilize animal chiropractic to alter the lives of the animals in their communities.
Hey, welcome everybody to another episode of Animal Chiropractic Clinic Chatter. I'm your host, Dr. O. Today on this part of Who is Animal Chiropractic, we're here with Dr. Haller. Dr. Haller, tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're at.
Well, hi, Dr. O. I'm here in Scottsdale, Arizona, and I have a practice for humans and animals. So I also do functional medicine, and so we do, I'd say, a pretty even mix of everything. We're working on small animals and large animals, and then we see all kinds of cases.
All right. So first, tell me what your biggest win is with animal chiropractic.
Well, so I'd say my biggest win right now is middle of December. We had an animal come in that was about to get euthanized. And just overnight went from being a normal dog using all four legs to waking up in the morning and couldn't use the hind legs, and went to 2 different vets, both advised euthanasia. And then within about 3 days, we saw a huge improvement. Dog finally opened her eyes. She's walking on all 4 legs again.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. So like she was almost comatose then.
Yeah, when they brought her in, she couldn't open her eyes. She couldn't move. They had to carry her in. She hadn't eaten for 5 days, hadn't had water by the time that they brought her to me. And this was like their last ditch effort. And then by day 3, she opened her eyes for the first time. And then she's been eating and drinking all by herself since then.
Cool.
Yeah.
So amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And did they ever end up with a diagnosis for her, or just,
Well, they said it was IBDD. And so they said, can't do anything. They didn't want to do surgery. They gave medication, but the medication wasn't helping. So the first vet said, at this point, all we can do is euthanize. They didn't like that answer, so they went to a different vet, and then they came to the same conclusion. And then they just wanted, like a third opinion. Yeah.
Thank goodness, huh?
Yeah, because they got to spend Christmas with their baby,
Yeah. Uh-huh. That and wouldn't it be nice if that was the first opinion?
Yes, it would be. Oh my gosh, it would be. Yeah.
Let's adjust first, drugs second,
Yeah.
and then surgery third, just, like it should be with humans.
Absolutely. Yeah, least invasive to most invasive.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. So, and then were they willing to take him off the drugs because they weren't working? Thank goodness.
They did. We
Good.
had a conversation about it, and then they decided all by themselves just to give it a try because they noticed that within the first few hours after giving the medication, that's when she would become pretty much unresponsive. And then so they gave it a try. They stopped medication, and she immediately started to perk up, and she didn't seem to be in pain. So they decided that she didn't need it. So.
Well, I was talking to another animal chiropractor today that called, and she said, I've got this really old dog that I saw the first time yesterday, and all I did was adjust, neck, but I did palpate the rest of the spine, and it was really bad. But she goes, and then today, it's all, the dog's doing worse. Could I have hurt something? And I said, well, what drugs is it on? And so she listed Xanax and gabapentin and ribavirin and 4 drugs that interfere with nervous system. And so I said, well, I doubt you did something except for remove nervous system interference, which allowed the drug side effects to come full born.
Yeah.
And she was, what? I said, well, those drug side effects would have been worse before the adjustment without that nervous system interference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But then once you got rid of the nervous system interference, it allowed those drugs to do their best.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she's like, oh, wow, I never thought of it that way. And it's like, yeah. So, I mean, that's huge what some of those drug side effects will do.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And some of them are scary.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I had a dog come in last night for the first visit, and like really bad, really severe valley fever. And I mean, it's not that uncommon in this area. And so I've actually had several dogs come in that were like further in the progression. This one, it's pretty new. It's within the last few months. They had 4 months of misdiagnosis, and then drove here from New Mexico. And so they're here. Then the dog came in last night. Like, the head tilt was really severe. Like it was ataxic. I mean, couldn't really do anything at all. But after the adjustment, we let her lay down for, 10 minutes or so. And then once she got up, her owner said that was the fastest she's seen her get up in a long time. And then she said that she noticed that the head tilt wasn't so bad. I mean, the dog's head was like completely sideways when she came in, and then it was still there. The tilt was still there, but not as bad. And then they actually went back to the veterinarian this morning, and the vet said, well, she looks better. Like, and she was there overnight for like 4 days in a row. They just released her. They brought her to my office. And then when they brought her back to the vet today, the vet was like, yeah, she's actually doing good. And so that was awesome.
Yeah. Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's amazing what we can do when we let the nervous system, do what it's supposed to do.
Oh, absolutely.
And especially if you couple that with some good food, and people don't realize a lot of times that the food they're feeding is full of inflammatory chemicals, and and they're like, which anti-inflammatory should I feed? Change your diet. Oh, no, I just want to supplement it. Well, okay, so to counteract just the inflammatory reactions from the diet, you need to feed twice as much.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
and anti-inflammatory. So cool. So that's your biggest dog wins. How about, you said you do large animals too?
Yeah. So we have been working with an animal rescue here in Arizona, and so they deal with horses in critical care. And when they come in, I mean, they're in really rough shape. And so we just spent the day out there last week working on, as many horses as we could fit in that day. And all we did for all of them was adjust atlas, pelvis on some, but just to help their nervous system flow and work well, so that everything that they're dealing with, and they were dealing with so many different things, but so that the things that they are dealing with, they have so much more capacity to heal. And yeah, they did awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. I mean, because that's, a lot of those rescue horses, they have limited funds, but a lot of stuff has been done beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
And there again, if those owners had known about chiropractic, a lot of times they wouldn't be rescue horses.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So so what do you wish everybody knew about animal chiropractic?
Well, so I've been asking everyone in my community, number one, do you know that it even exists, right? Because so many people are shocked that, and then when I tell them about it, they're like, well, I mean, it only makes sense. And then number two is that I want people to know that your animal doesn't have to be sick in order for you to come in. We want you to bring your animals in when they're still appearing healthy, because it can go from looking totally normal to being like a really hard decision in, a few hours. And I have seen it. So I want people to know that bring them in. They can still be healthy when you bring them in. It doesn't have to be a crisis situation or for them to be sick before they get some care. Let's do it now and let their nervous system do the work so that they can be their healthiest selves now.
Yes. Now let's
Now.
get adjusted. I have, we had a dachshund. Well, they had, so there was 3 dachshunds in the family.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It was mom and then her son and daughter-in-law, and they had 3 kids. They had 3 dachshunds and 9 paralyzations.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. And we would see one dog, and then we would get it adjusted, 3-4 visits, and it was off and going.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see you again in a couple weeks. And then we wouldn't see him. And then they'd bring in a different dog, paralyzed, and we'd adjust it. And 3-4 visits and never see him again. Mm-hmm. And then, the third time we got him up, and then he went down again, and they went to the vet and they said, oh, it's $4,000, you euthanize him. And they actually brought him here and left him with us for a week. And it was about $1,000 to be here for a week, which, I mean, he was here every day for a week, and we had to hand feed him and all this and adjust him. And a week later, he was playing with the ball and went home. Mm-hmm. And then, and only then, did we start to see him once a month.
Yeah, right.
For 4 years. And then, but it took him 9 paralyzations.
Yeah.
To realize. And I did that when we sent him home the last time. I said, you better come back in a month, or I don't think I can. I don't think I can bring him back again.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's like that in human medicine too. Like, people don't go to the doctor unless they're sick. They don't go to the vet unless their animal is sick. And so when we're talking about preventative medicine here, where we are wanting to see the animal before this kind of stuff happens, it's like, it's such a mental shift.
Well, it is, because the paradigm that we know about wellness care from traditional medicine and traditional veterinary medicine is vaccinations, some blood work, and maybe some parasite prevention.
Right.
And eat whatever we want, because, probably diet really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
As long as if I'm up walking around, my diet must be good.
Right. Yeah. Right.
What do you mean I'm protein deficient? If my muscles are strong, I'm walking around, I can't be protein deficient. And we do some hair analysis on dogs, like functional medicine type stuff. And about over 90% of those dogs are hypocalcemic in their hair.
No.
Well, my blood work was fine. Dog's blood work was fine. Well, yes, but the body is especially developed to keep blood calcium normal. There's one type of cells that puts calcium into bone, and another type that takes calcium out of bone, so that your blood calcium maintains a normal range. The hair is the last thing that gets calcium. And over 90% of dogs that are on kibble food are hypocalcemic.
Wow.
And there's all kinds of things like that I'm sure you see in your functional medicine when you go beyond the normal blood work.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, I don't do anything like that for animals, but that's what I do for humans. And humans, I mean, they're always just shocked, because what I do in my office is I will order the traditional lab, but then I will show them this is the range for functional medicine. And so, yes, on this side, you look completely normal, but then on this side, like, we have to do something now or we are trending towards disease, and it's a very, very stark difference.
It is huge. And it's, all kinds of different tests, I mean, so, I used to weigh about 300 pounds. And when I first met Dr. Amy, he told me my thyroid didn't work. And I said, oh, it does. I know it does, because I just had my blood work done.
Yeah.
And my T4 is right in the middle. It's right where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
He said, yeah, but that doesn't mean it's working right. He said, I'll bet your body temperature is low. I said, nah, I sweat I wake up sweating every morning. I can't be, there's no way I have a low body temperature. So it was about, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks later, she said, what's your temperature in the morning? I said, well, I told you I wasn't going to take it. She said, all right. So she started packing up her suitcase. And I said, what? She said, well, there's no reason in me coming back here if you're not going to be healthy. So my temperature was 96.4.
Wow.
And so in other words, I did buy a thermometer. I did take my temperature. Dr. Amy's around, so so, but think about that. If you go through those scanners at the airport, right, or into a mall or wherever, where they're during the pandemic, where they were taking your temperature to make sure that if you had a fever, you couldn't get in and contaminate everybody, right?
Yeah.
But how many people run low temperatures every day?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So if I ran a fever back then, I could run a 4-degree fever and still be under 101.
Yeah.
So I could be pretty sick and still be normal.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So we see that all the time, Anyway, so what has animal chiropractic done for your life?
Well, number one, I would say it makes me happy. You know, yeah, like I loved working with humans. Like my human practice, it was awesome. But now getting to work with animals, like my husband knows when I've only worked with humans that day and didn't see any animals. He's like, "You didn't see any animals today, did you?" And I'm like, "No, because I'm sad." You know, I love it. I absolutely love it. Every single one of them. It's like, you know, large or small. It brings me so much joy, you know, because animals, here's the thing, animals want to heal. They want to heal. And I will say, like, after working with humans, a lot of them want to, but some of them just don't. You can hand them the world. And then if they're not ready to heal, they won't. And then, you know, but animals, you bring them in and they're paralyzed. And guess what? You work on them and they start, you know, working again. They're running around like a regular dog. Like their capacity, you know, physical and emotional for healing is huge. And I love it.
Mm-hmm. And immediate gratification for the adjuster, you know?
Yeah.
And you never hear a dog say, "Oh, I don't know if it worked or not. Oh, I don't know."
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe an owner, but not the dog.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. No, I had actually one time, there was a dog, a pit mix that I think it was a pit mix, but anyhow, it came in on 3 legs. It had all 4, but for the last 7 years of its life, and this dog is 9 years old, for the last 7 years, it didn't use the right hind leg. And, you know, I was already taking care of the owner with chiropractic. And so I was like, well, let me see your dog, you know, let me just try. And so he's like, well, I mean, you know, this dog has been to like all the vets. We went to a specialist, PT, laser, like all the different therapies. And he had like 9 different therapies that he listed off. And I was like, all right, well, you know, can't hurt to try, right? And so this dog like walked around with his leg tucked up the whole time. And when we brought him in, we made one adjustment in the pelvis and he put his leg down and he has been using it ever since. Yeah. And oh, this is the part that I forgot to mention. All the vets, they had said it's autoimmune. It will never get better. Like, this is your dog. Your dog's going to be, you know, a 3-legged dog for the rest of its life. And it had been for 7 years. And so when like we made the adjustment, dog put the foot down and then it was like, well, maybe it wasn't autoimmune. And then so I actually just saw the owner, and this was like several months ago, and I just saw the owner on Tuesday, and he said, oh yeah, he's been doing great. He's been going on, you know, several mile hikes and runs, and he works out, you know, with them every single day. And so I was like, he's still using all 4 legs after all this time? And he was like, yeah. So that was awesome.
No maintenance there though, right? No maintenance.
I keep checking, like, hey, you know, like I'm adjusting you. You should probably get your dog in, like, right? Like that would make sense. And he's like, no, he's fine. I'm like, okay. I mean, that's all you can do, right? Is remind them.
Yep. Remind them. Yep.
Yeah.
And let them know, because you, like you said, he had all those therapies and all that. And to me, it's amazing how many professional chiropractors there are, human and animal chiropractors, that don't talk about chiropractic.
Yeah, I know.
You know, they come in, they go to their office, they go to their space, their bale, their barn, and they adjust the animals that are brought to them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Yeah.
You know, and they don't ever and I tell a lot of stories, you know, and I've been affected by chiropractic personally in huge ways, both pro and con. And it took me 37 and a half years to figure out that when Riley died at 37, it took 37 and a half years to figure out that Riley, my son, was because 17 chiropractors did not talk about chiropractic. That I didn't know what chiropractic was until I was 39 years old, until he was 13 years old. I firmly believe that if somebody had said when he had his first seizure, instead of those drugs, you ought to get him adjusted, he would still be here today.
Yeah.
And I told that story to a group of chiropractors. And about a month later, I got a text and it said, "Hey, I just want you to know, one of my patients who I've been adjusting for years has a 5-year-old son that has 100 seizures a day. I got to adjust him the first time last week. He was seizure free for 1 week.
Yeah.
His dad brought him in and said, adjust his atlas." But I had never talked to him about chiropractic until last week when I shared your son's story. I got a text on Christmas Day. That little boy had gone 5 months seizure free and had his first Christmas drug and seizure free ever.
Wow.
And that's how important sharing is. You just have to share.
Yes.
You don't have to preach. You don't have to shove it down somebody's throat. You just like you did with the 3-legged dog. Hey, let's give it a try. What do we got to lose?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Absolutely. It's amazing, the myth that we have to fight as chiropractors.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's dangerous. It's all kinds of stuff, right?
Yeah. I just and it's water that we have to tread carefully too, because as a chiropractor, like, it's ingrained in us. We know that no matter what disease process is happening, the best thing that you can do for a person or an animal, like, number one thing that you can do is remove interference from the nervous system. And then if you need something else, go do it,
Right.
But like, what if something was going on with my family, my husband or my animals, what's the first thing I would do? I would adjust them. But like, you have to tread carefully with other people, because so many people have, been indoctrinated into what we now know as medicine, right? That we don't get care until we're sick. And then even then, like, we don't rely on alternatives. We rely on traditional medicine, which is pills and surgery and whatever, right? So when you offer a solution that is not that, as much as people want to accept it and try it and be like, wow, this might actually work, there's always well, is it safe? Is it actually valid? Is it effective? And it seems like for chiropractic being around this long, we wouldn't still be having these conversations, but we do. Well,
it's because, and in the new book that's coming out, I wrote a book called Yes, It's Really a Thing. What is animal chiropractic? And we're coming out with Yes, It's a Better Thing. A chiropractic lifestyle for your dog, which is chiropractic, exercise, and diet.
Wow.
And so it'll be out soon. But one of the chapters in there is, why don't we know about animal chiropractic? And why is it so small yet, even though it's been around for 100 years?
Right.
And it has a lot to do with the Rockefellers and the Carnegies. Goes all the way back to 1910.
Yeah. No, I believe it. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's proof. I mean, that a lot of stuff happened back in the early 1900s that Rockefeller paid for. And right now, the Rockefeller Foundation, who's all about drugs because they're trying to make money with byproducts. The foundation is run with money from byproducts of petroleum products, which are drugs. And they have a seat on the World Health Organization that's equivalent to a country.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Oh no.
They have the world. So the United States has a seat on the World Health Organization. So does the Rockefeller Foundation. They're equivalent.
That's terrifying.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
Wow. Yeah.
Yep. Because we always, the World Health Organization, they can't be biased, right?
Mhm. Yeah, right. Well, yeah. You would hope.
Yes. Anyway.
Yeah.
So, well, any parting words of wisdom to, first off, animal owners?
Yeah. Well, number one is that I'm an animal owner too. Okay. And I also was in the position where I thought that wellness care meant taking my animals to Banfield twice a year. I really did think that I was like at the top of my game, like paying them every single month for this membership. And I thought I am so far ahead of other owners because I'm paying for this service that makes sure that my animals are well. I followed all of their dietary recommendations. My animals still had like just chronic ear infections. We could never get on top of them. They had chronic diarrhea on all the medications, and we're up to date on all their vaccinations and all this stuff. But it wasn't until I actually started getting my animals adjusted by ABCA animal chiropractors that stuff started to improve. And then when I went to ACEs and became an animal chiropractor, and then we talked about diet and all of that stuff, I came home, changed the diet, started getting them regularly adjusted, and we haven't had a problem ever since. And so, yes, I'm an animal chiropractor, but I'm an animal owner. And so I know that it's so stressful thinking that you're doing everything you can for your animal and they're still dealing with health issues, but then being offered a solution that's, well, number one, way cheaper, and number two, like easier and simpler, and it's easier on the animal. Like that's huge. So I would say that animal owners, like if you are, suffering with your pet and being stressed out about all their health issues, don't give up. There's other things out there that can help, and it is way easier than you think, I promise. And then number two, like just because something isn't well known doesn't mean that it's not amazing, right? Mm-hmm. Like some of the best things in the world are not mainstream. So give it a try.
All right. What about for any chiropractors that are, toying with the idea?
Yes. So, and I love this. I get asked about this all the time. Arizona is a unique state too. And so Arizona is an amazing state to be an animal chiropractor in. And so for the chiropractors that are wanting, well, this is like several different things that I want to say on that. For the chiropractors that are wanting to start working with animals, please, please, please go to school for animal chiropractic. Biped and quadruped are not the same. They're not the same. And I know that we think as chiropractors often that like, if it's a subluxation, we can adjust it. It's not the same. Get educated on animals before you deliver an adjustment, because I know that you're thinking that you're doing the right thing for the animal. But if you have the highest quality of education, you can go in there confidently knowing that this animal is going to get better and you're not guessing. And then number two is that like we need to stop thinking that we can just give these like adjustments in the dark. Like, oh, I'm just going to help out this person that they brought their animal to me, and because I'm a chiropractor, like I can just give these like adjustments and then call it good and send them away. Like, please, like put their best interest at heart and tell them, you know what, there are some really highly qualified people out there that already have this information, and we would love to refer you to them, because I care so much about you as my patient and about your animal. And so I want you to have the highest quality of care and then refer them to people that are qualified.
All right. Wow. Thank you.
Yeah.
So you're an ACES grad.
Yeah.
Why did you come to ACES?
Well, so I looked at the other schools, and I will say, ACES was probably like the number one talked about animal chiropractic school at the school that I went to at Sherman. And so, we had an animal chiropractic club there on campus, and I would say almost every single person that was involved in any capacity in the club had been to or known about ACES. And so it just seemed like the natural next step. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Have you, any problem repaying that extra money that you paid to ACES?
No. I would say, me, Dr. O, I went by the books. And so I did not go home and adjust in between the modules, because I was trying to make sure that in my state, I was following all the rules. However, I will say, even though I waited until I was done with ACES and done with ABCA to deliver any adjustments, since that point, no, it's been great.
Okay. All right. Anyway, would you recommend ACES to other people?
Yeah, I totally would. I already have. Yeah.
Oh, good. We hear we're too expensive and da-da-da and,
No,
all that, but...
you get what you pay for, and you guys can be hard asses sometimes, but you are the best. And I can say that I learned so much, and now I'm able to help people with these life-changing stories because I know that what I'm doing is right.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
So how do I get a hold of you if I have a dog, a horse, a guinea pig that needs to be adjusted in Scottsdale, Arizona?
Yeah. So it's my last name. So Haller House of Chiropractic. We're in the Scottsdale Air Park. And so we're located basically on the tip of all of these surrounding areas that have a bunch of ranches. And so lots of people out in the Cave Creek area that have, ranches and barns and all this stuff. We're actually really close to them, so it's easy for us to make it out there to find them. And then, for small animal, we're centrally located here for the Phoenix and Scottsdale and Paradise Valley area to take care of the smaller animals.
Phone number or website?
480-238-5670. I don't call myself very often. And then the website is www.hallerchiro.com.
All right. So thank you, everybody, for listening once again. And remember, the body heals one way and one way only: above, down, inside out. Thanks all for listening.
If you are or know a veterinarian or chiropractor, or a student of either of these professions, visit our website, Animal Chiropractic Education Source, to see how to become certified in animal chiropractic. Start improving the lives of the animals around you. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to the ACES channels so that you never miss an exciting episode.